Are you the life of the party, or do you recharge by being alone? Today we're diving deep into one of psychology's most fascinating debates: introverts versus extroverts. Most people think they know what these terms mean. Extroverts are loud and social. Introverts are quiet and shy. But the truth is way more complex than that. The terms introvert and extrovert were actually coined by Carl Jung back in the 1920s. But he wasn't talking about how social you are at all. Jung's theory was all about energy, specifically where you get your energy from and where you direct your attention. For extroverts, energy comes from the external world, being around people, taking action, experiencing new things. That's what charges their batteries. They process their thoughts by talking them out. They think by doing. Extroverts literally feel more alive when they're engaged with the world around them. Introverts, on the other hand, draw energy from within. They recharge through solitude, reflection, and deep focus on their inner world. For an introvert, too much external stimulation isn't energizing. It's actually draining, like a battery that depletes when overused. They prefer to think before they speak. They process internally first, then share their carefully considered thoughts when they're ready. Now here's where it gets interesting. These aren't just personality preferences. There's actual neuroscience behind this. Research shows that introverts and extroverts actually have different levels of dopamine sensitivity. Dopamine is that feel-good neurotransmitter that rewards us for seeking out new experiences. Extroverts have lower dopamine sensitivity, which means they need more stimulation to feel that reward. More people, more action, more novelty. Introverts, though, have higher dopamine sensitivity. They're more easily overstimulated. A little goes a long way for them. There's also a difference in brain pathway preferences. Extroverts use shorter neural pathways that prioritize quick action and external processing. Introverts rely on longer, more complex pathways that involve more internal processing, especially in areas related to memory and planning. So when an extrovert is in a stimulating environment, their brain lights up with reward signals. They feel good, energized, motivated. Put that same extrovert in a quiet, understimulated environment for too long, and they start to feel restless, bored, even a bit down. Meanwhile, an introvert in that same quiet space, they're in their element, calm, focused, content. Their brain isn't screaming for more input. But throw that introvert into an overstimulating situation, a loud party with crowds and constant interaction, and their nervous system goes into overdrive. It's not that they're antisocial or anxious, though those can be separate issues. It's just that their system is processing way more information than an extrovert's would in the same situation. Now, one huge misconception we need to clear up. Introversion does not equal shyness, and extroversion doesn't mean you're fearless. Shyness is about fear. It's anxiety about social judgment or rejection. You can be a shy extrovert who wants social connection but feels afraid to pursue it. And you can absolutely be a confident introvert who has no social anxiety at all. They just prefer smaller groups and need alone time to recharge. Social anxiety can affect anyone, regardless of where they fall on the introvert-extrovert spectrum. These are separate dimensions of personality. Another important thing to understand: this isn't binary. You're not purely one or the other. It's a spectrum. Most people actually fall somewhere in the middle. These folks are called ambiverts, and they're probably the majority of the population. Ambiverts can flex between introverted and extroverted behaviors depending on the situation, their mood, and their energy levels. They might love hosting a dinner party on Friday night, but then need the entire Saturday to themselves to recover. That's totally normal. Your position on this spectrum can also shift throughout your life. You might become more introverted as you age, or more extroverted during certain life phases. Context matters too. You might be more extroverted at work, where you're comfortable and competent, but more introverted in unfamiliar social situations. So what are the real strengths of each type? Let's start with extroverts. Extroverts tend to be excellent at networking and building broad social connections quickly. They thrive in collaborative environments and team settings. They're often natural leaders in group settings because they're comfortable taking charge, making quick decisions, and rallying people together. Extroverts usually find it easier to think on their feet. They process out loud, which makes them great in brainstorming sessions and dynamic conversations. They're also typically more comfortable with risk-taking and trying new things. That novelty-seeking behavior can lead to exciting opportunities and experiences. Now let's talk about introverted strengths, because there are many. Introverts excel at deep focus and sustained concentration. They can dive into complex problems and stay with them for hours without needing external stimulation. They are often better listeners because they're processing what's being said rather than planning what they'll say next. This makes them excellent counselors, advisors, and confidants. Introverts tend to think before they speak, which means their contributions are often well considered, insightful, and carry real weight when shared. They're usually more comfortable with independent work and self-direction. This makes them natural researchers, writers, programmers, and artists. Introverts also tend to form fewer but deeper relationships. They invest heavily in close friendships and create incredibly strong bonds with select people. So who has it better? Honestly, that's the wrong question entirely. Neither type is superior. They're just different operating systems, each with their own advantages depending on the context and what needs to get done. The world needs both. Extroverts bring energy, action, and connection. Introverts bring depth, reflection, and careful thought. Think about successful teams. The best ones have both types. You need people who'll charge forward and people who'll say, "Wait, let's think this through." In relationships, understanding your partner's place on this spectrum is huge. If you're an extrovert dating an introvert, you need to respect their recharge time. And if you're an introvert with an extroverted partner, understand they're not trying to exhaust you. They genuinely get energy from what you find draining. The key is compromise. Go to some social events together, but also protect and respect the introvert's need for quiet time. Balance is everything. What about work environments? This is where understanding these differences really matters for productivity and satisfaction. Open-plan offices, which have become so popular, are actually terrible for many introverts. Constant noise and visual stimulation make deep work almost impossible. These introverts aren't antisocial or unfriendly. They're just trying to create the conditions they need to do their best work. Give them quiet spaces and watch them thrive. On the flip side, extroverts in isolated remote work situations can really struggle. That's why so many extroverts hated pandemic lockdowns more intensely. They need that in-person interaction, that buzzing energy of shared physical space. For them, remote work can feel isolating and demotivating, even if it's more efficient. The best modern workplaces recognize these differences and offer flexibility. Work-from-home options for introverts, collaborative office days for extroverts, choice for everyone. Now let's tackle another myth. Can you change where you fall on this spectrum? Can an introvert become an extrovert or vice versa? The short answer is, your basic temperament is pretty hardwired. It's largely biological. Remember those dopamine sensitivity differences and neural pathways we talked about? That said, you can absolutely learn to flex and adapt. An introvert can develop better social skills and learn to manage their energy in extroverted situations. And an extrovert can learn to be comfortable with solitude, develop their capacity for deep work, and find ways to recharge that don't always require other people. This is called developing your flexible competence. You're not changing your core nature, but you're expanding your range and building skills outside your comfort zone. Think of it like being right or left-handed. You're naturally one or the other, but you can train your non-dominant hand to be more useful when needed. Some situations might even require you to act against your natural preference. That's okay, but it will cost you energy, and you'll need recovery time afterward. Here's something fascinating. Highly successful people often understand and leverage their personality type rather than fight against it. Introverted leaders like Bill Gates or Warren Buffett built companies and strategies that work with their temperament: deep analysis, long-term thinking, selective relationships. Meanwhile, extroverted leaders like Richard Branson or Oprah Winfrey built empires around their strengths: charisma, connection, inspiring large groups of people. Neither approach is better. They're different paths to success, and authenticity to your type is actually a competitive advantage. So what do you do if you're not sure where you fall on the spectrum? There are a few questions you can ask yourself. After a long day of heavy social interaction, do you feel energized and want more? Or do you feel drained and need alone time to recover? Do you process your thoughts by talking them through with others, or by thinking them through privately first before sharing? When you have free time, do you tend to reach out to friends and make plans? Or do you prefer to spend that time alone or with just one or two close people? Your honest answers to these questions will tell you a lot. And remember, there's no right or wrong answer. Both types have equal value. One more important thing: cultural context matters too. Some cultures value extroverted traits more highly, while others respect introverted qualities. Western cultures, especially the United States, tend to reward extroverted behavior, being outgoing, assertive, self-promoting. The squeaky wheel gets the grease. Many Eastern cultures, on the other hand, value listening over speaking, thoughtfulness over quick action, and humility over self-promotion. Different values, different strengths. If you're an introvert in an extrovert-dominant culture, or vice versa, that mismatch can make you feel like something's wrong with you. But nothing is wrong with you. You're just operating with a different temperament in a system that wasn't designed for you. That's not a personal failing. That's a cultural reality. So let's wrap this up with some practical takeaways you can actually use in your daily life. First, figure out where you genuinely fall on the spectrum. Be honest with yourself, not where you think you should be or where others want you to be. Second, design your life to work with your temperament as much as possible. Choose careers, living situations, and relationships that fit who you actually are. Third, communicate your needs to the people in your life. Tell your partner you need alone time or social time. Tell your boss what environment helps you do your best work. Fourth, learn to recognize when you're running low on energy. Introverts, notice when you're getting overstimulated before you hit complete burnout. Extroverts, notice when isolation is starting to drain you before you sink into a slump. Catch it early and do something about it. Fifth, build your recovery practices. Introverts, create sacred alone time. Extroverts, maintain a network of people you can reach out to when you need connection. Sixth, stop judging yourself against the other type's strengths. An introvert doesn't need to be the life of the party. An extrovert doesn't need to love solitude. Play to your actual strengths, not the strengths you think you're supposed to have. That's where your power and authenticity live. Finally, seventh point. Extend understanding to others. When someone needs something different from you, it's not a rejection. It's just a different operating system. The introvert who declines your party invitation isn't rejecting you. The extrovert who needs to talk through every feeling isn't trying to overwhelm you. We're all just trying to function in the way we're wired. So here's the bottom line. After everything we've covered, introversion and extroversion are about energy management, not social ability or personality quality. Both types have equal value and different strengths. The world genuinely needs both. Diversity of temperament makes teams, relationships, and communities stronger. Your job isn't to become the other type. It's to understand yourself, honor your needs, develop flexibility where needed, and find your path to thriving. So whether you recharge in a crowd or in solitude, Whether you think out loud or think in silence, you're exactly as you should be. Now go live accordingly.